Hi there. This past Wednesday, May 8th, Warner Brothers Discovery released their earnings report for first quarter of 2025, and their streaming division performed above expectations, both in terms of profits and increases in subscriber count, that in a relatively off season, they posted 5 million new subscribers, which brings their global subscriber total up to about 122 million. This has led to a wave of optimism among their leadership, particularly CEO David Zaslav, who has been talking about this earnings report in various interviews the past few days. And most importantly to us, on top of that, Zaslav cited House of the Dragon by name as one of their top 2 or 3 TV shows which is behind and fueling this growth in subscribers and profit. So the profit alone is good news for us, because when Warner does well, we do well. They have more money to devote to their franchises. And on top of that, anyone saying, oh, they're stepping back from the House of the Dragon, they're going to focus on other projects, no, they are treating this as one of the jewels in the crown. So let me break this down. Now, I just finished up a much longer and more detailed report on state of the industry for Warner Discovery across all of 2024. Please check that out. I had to split it across 2 videos. Why did I post it a week before this? Well, the fourth quarter results didn't come out until late February, and then it took me a while to make because it was the full year in review. I covered a lot of topics. Then, just as I was about to post it, House of the Dragon Season 3 casting and filming began, so I had to drop what I was doing to report on that. So, backlog, at least I managed to get it out a week before this, go in a lot more detail about state of the industry. This just continues trends we saw in that, of, like linear cable is declining, but direct-to-consumer, DTC, which is what House of the Dragon's in, that's going up. It's the streamer plus subscription cable like HBO is going up. And, yeah, it's a little late, but other channels don't really follow state of the industry news at all. They just report what they want or assume to be true. And that's really the main reason I make these things. To have researched reports based on, evidence. Not just reporting my assumptions. People are like, oh, well, obviously this is because of Kathleen Kennedy. They're slashing the budget. And no, they're increasing the budget. What are you There's numbers on paper that don't lie. That there's facts for things. Well, the point of this video, just up front, is I'm not trying to sell you false hope. What I'm saying is the money is physically there now that wasn't there before, even a year ago. They can't increase the episode count for House of the Dragon Season 3 now. They've already written it. They're already at the point they're filming. You can't just add more like that. But it is within the realm of possibility that they could get an increased episode count, increased episode budget for Season 4. Maybe back up to 10 episodes. Maybe I've said maybe they'll give them 12 episodes split into 2 batches. Call it Season 4A and B. Call it a shortened Season 4 and 5. Semantics. The money is physically there, and they've even admitted it is largely fueled by House of the Dragon and their other 1 or 2 top hits. But I don't want to sell you false hope, because just because a sane person would look at this and go, oh, okay, this is one of our top shows, it's fueling growth, and we have the money again, a sane person would give them an increased episode count. I can't guarantee what David Zaslav is going to do. But the point of this report is just, for those dismissing out of hand, they assume the money isn't there. It is again. A lot of this is due to just the long turnaround time between, we have a 2-year turnaround time now for prestige television, which is movie quality, takes a long time to make. This whole drama started with slashing the episode budget for House of the Dragon Season 2 at the last minute, just as they were about to start filming, to the point that what you saw as the 8th and final episode was literally written as episode 8 of 10. We've had directors admitting that. This was never meant to be the finale. All of that was in April of 2023. That was a full 2 years ago. And at the time, their streaming division was not profitable. It was, none of them were. I mean, even Disney Plus wasn't profitable then. Netflix was rounding a corner, but the other ones, they only got profitable in 2024. Even last quarter of 2023, the direct-to-consumer division, streaming division, posted a net loss of $55 million. End of 2024, full year 2024, it was up to $677 million net profit. They turned things around since that last episode cut. Not enough time to convince them to give more to Season 3, of course, but these are the discussions happening in the smoke-filled rooms behind the scenes now. And even then, 2024, the first half was light on shows due to the after effects of the writer's strike. There weren't shows in the can waiting to put out. House of the Dragon was the first big show of the year, and that was in July for them. That I point out in my last video, like 60% of their profits were in the second half of the year, like $400 million out of $677 million. Remember how overstacked fourth quarter was with The Penguin immediately followed by Dune Prophecy? Now, they're not all going to have a show as big as The Penguin, that's exceptional, but last video I said, sitting down doing the math, that they realized, okay, let's say a normal quarter for us, if that got 400, but now it's a post-strike, we have these international expansion waves which are fueling viewership again. They think they can get maybe 300 million or so per quarter. So they pronounced in the last earnings report, we think that as 2024 was 677 million net profit for the year, we think we can double that in 2025 to 1.3 billion. They are on track for that. That the net profits for streaming division first quarter were 339 million. In what they acknowledge was an off season. I keep saying it's an off season. The specific dates of Q1 were January 1st through March 31st. This was an off season for 3 reasons. First, they didn't have that big of a movie slate. Well, that's not us, that's the movie division, but they even point out in it, it does say our studio division is down 18%, but this is compared year to year, because it's not fair to compare it to fourth quarter. It's spring and summer are different because of that, when you put out the blockbusters versus other stuff. They said, well, a full year ago, first quarter 2024, we had, Dune Part 2, and then Godzilla vs. Kong 2 were both first quarter 2024. So they went, obviously our studio division is down a bit, but I wouldn't blame them for that. But even then, that's the raw revenue is down 18%. The net profit is actually up slightly because we just didn't put out that many things. That Mickey 17 movie was below expectations, but they think they'll round a corner. There's no crisis because Minecraft movie just did really well. That was a hit, and that was from Warner. But it is not reflected in this earnings report, because they do note in it, the cutoff is March 31st. Minecraft movie premiered April 4th. So that isn't in this. On top of that, in terms of subscriber growth, they were impressed that, wow, we got 5 million new subscribers in the off-season, that we didn't have a big international launch. Remember, the last big launch of 2024 was Southeast Asia in November. And there was just a big launch in Australia exactly on March 31st on the cutoff date. So this doesn't include the subscriber boom from a big market like Australia. And they still did really well in what they acknowledged was an off-season. And the third thing is they were rationing out their content across the year. They realized this is the last ripple effect of the strikes. They realized we wouldn't have that much on in fall if we had like 2 hits per quarter. Which is why they moved Dunk and Egg from spring to fall, so they'd have something in fall. I understand that as much as I'm annoyed about it. So the only really big show they had first quarter was White Lotus Season 3, which was good and was popular and everyone was talking about it, but it's not the same, blockbuster sci-fi fantasy action type show as The Penguin or The Last of Us Season 2. Last of Us Season 2 is a giant mega hit like that. It was Show of the Year 2023, and they say in the earnings report, just wait for second quarter when we get the results from Australia and from The Last of Us Season 2 and the Minecraft movie. So I'll leave this short. Check out the longer ones if you want, but this is good news for House of the Dragon, that they are on their way to doubling profits compared to last year. That this was an off quarter and they still managed to get the bare minimum of like 300 million that they need, 300 million times 4. They're going to get over $1 billion in profit this year, up from 677 million last year. How high are the profits going to go because of The Last of Us Season 2? Or for Dunk and Egg in fall? Question is, will third quarter be able to pick up the slack? I mean, I don't know, is Welcome to Derry going to come out in August? I'm not really sure, but if you thought in my last video that it seemed overly optimistic, we think we're going to increase to over $1 billion, they are well on their way to that. And this is the season of discussions for how many seasons is House of the Dragon going to run? Are we going to get a supersized 4th season with more episodes aired in 2 batches or not, is the question. Whatever you call that. Is it going to be more than 8 after Season 3? All of this hinges on Zaslav, who is now really optimistic, in a good mood, and mentioning House of the Dragon by name. I can't make any promises, but anything that could be going well is going well, so we'll see what happens and I'll keep you updated.